Are they doing it because they want to go on a rampant killing spree of their child?
I think it's a totally black and white issue, and I don't think abortion is ever necessary.
Imagine you were in the circumstance where you were dirt poor, where you didn't have the financial ability to give your child a good life.
Okay, so in this video, Michael Knowles goes against a morally bankrupt, self-proclaimed Christian. This video will perfectly encapsulate why liberal ideology and any Abrahamic religions are completely incompatible. Also, I was kind of surprised that Michael Knowles started playing semantic games to get out of saying the truth. Okay, let's get into the video.
Where do we disagree?
Yeah, so I had a lot of issues with what you were talking about, and I myself am Christian, so the first thing I want to talk about is abortion.
Yep.
So you mentioned that abortion is killing, which I understand biblically, that's how it is, that is how it is presented.
And biologically.
And biologically. But do you not agree that there are certain circumstances in which abortion is necessary? And adding on to that, do you not think that abortion is not as much of a black and white issue as you are making it out to be?
I think it's a totally black and white issue, and I don't think abortion is ever necessary. I suppose if one looked at a very, very small number of medical problems that could arise, the death of the preborn baby could result as a consequence.
Okay, so I have to disagree with Michael Knowles. There are some instances in which that decision has to be made between the mother or continuing the pregnancy. For example, premature pre-rupture of membrane. PPROM. This is a very serious condition, especially if you're in the early stages of pregnancy, that can lead to infections, and due to the fact that the woman is pregnant, that can spread throughout the body much quicker. So according to the research, if it's 34 weeks or later, delivery is advised. If it's 24 to 34, expectant management is possible. If it's earlier than 24 weeks, the decision has to be made whether to protect the woman's life or attempt to carry on the pregnancy, which may carry a large risk of death to the mother. If you guys would be kind enough to drop a like and a sub, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's move on.
You'd look at a case like ectopic pregnancy, where the baby implants in the fallopian tube. There, it might be necessary even to remove the fallopian tube to prevent the woman from dying. That would necessarily result in the death of the baby. But the death of the baby is not what is intended, and the abortion of the baby is not the medicine to treat the mother. So that would be one example. But of course, for 99% plus of abortions, it's not to protect the life of the mother. It's not because of a pregnancy that resulted from. It's a purely elective pregnancy. So would you agree, as a Christian,
So Michael Knowles in this case is trying to subvert the fact that in some instances, for example, PPROM, ending the pregnancy is necessary to preserve the woman's life. He's also playing a semantic game when he says the intention is not to end the pregnancy, but to treat the woman. This is like saying, I want to remove a piston out of an engine, but the intention is not to stop the engine from working.
So would you agree, as a Christian, for those pregnancies, at the very least for those pregnancies, that those are morally unacceptable?
I think morally is different from how we view things in the political sense.
How so?
Because I think that morally, yes, it is wrong to kill a fetus. However, if you're looking at the impact that that child will make on the future of anyone in the United States, or looking at how their life will progress, I don't think that we should be taking away the mother's right to decide whether or not they want their child to grow up in specific circumstances.
The mother has the right to decide whether or not her child grows up in certain environments. Society blows up women's butts so much, they literally think they own the child's life and existence. The mother can want whatever she wants. She can want her child to be the next Beetlejuice for all I care. Her want does not supersede the kid's right to life.
These choices, are they doing it because they want to go on a rampant killing spree of their child? No. Imagine you were in the circumstance where you were dirt poor, where you didn't have the financial ability to give your child a good life.
I've been poor at points in my life.
And so have I. So I appreciate the fact that you're bringing that up. But I think that when the mother makes that type of decision, instead of outwardly ruling that, oh, abortion is wrong, we should allow the woman to make that choice.
But you already ruled that abortion is wrong. You already said it's morally wrong, but I just don't want to enforce it politically.
Exactly.
Her argument is that the right to life can be circumvented if the mother perceives a subjective level of suffering. Okay, so it's the suffering that is the dominating factor. Well, we call this selective eugenics. If her argument is selective eugenics, then she has to give a consistent argument why not round up homeless and mentally ill people and just get rid of them. They carry a very high perceived level of suffering. Plus, it would lift up the burden off of the society's shoulders. Also, orphanage kids go in the exact same category as the homeless and mentally ill people based on their criteria. So the conclusion, this kid has no concept of a principle. On one hand, she says she's a Christian, then she uses non-Christian ideology to argue on behalf of abortion, circumventing Christian ethics. Mind you, I don't believe that this girl is stupid. I think that she argued her way into stupidity. Plus, Michael Knowles played the semantic games out of saying the truth, which is that there are medical instances in which the decision has to be made between the mother or continuing the pregnancy or the child's life. Anyway, if you guys liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.